You are now listening to Being Unboxed with Renee Ambush, formerly with the Flex Radio and now with D.O.D. Radio Network, Destiny Over Drama. Best self, best life, best radio. Say that. You are now listening to impartation strategist Renee Ambush on the Flex Radio.
I love it. You are back. It's another Sunday, y'all, and I am still here. Yes, I am. Y'all know that song by Tisha Campbell? I'm still here. Yes, and today we are talking about life after, right? So here is my story. Now, what's so funny, y'all know I'm always doing something, right? So I try to kind of be appropriate. Well, not kind of, but I usually like to dress for the show, even though you can't see me. I try to dress for the show. Now, we're talking about basketball. Well, a portion of the show about basketball. But I was like, I'm a sports mom. So I wore my football mom shirt. Now, y'all can't see it. And for those who will see me on YouTube, you'll see just probably the rhinestones at the top. But know that my shirt says football mom because I'm a mom of an athlete. So I'm excited about that. And that's a part of our show today. Pretty much a main part, but it's a part of our show. So you know that I'm going to come with story time. So as a mother of an athlete, right? Navigating his life and his journey through sports and athletics and, through different clubs and growing up and things of that nature. I always thought about what happens after he doesn't play sports anymore. Like what will become of his life? Now, early on, I honed in on the fact that he was very athletic and he had already expressed interest in playing football. So having said that, every time he would get in trouble, right? And he gonna get me, but it is what it is. Every time he would get in trouble, I would make him run laps. I would make him run suicides. I would sit on his back. And you're talking about a 9 or 10-year-old. I would sit on his back and I wasn't a slim chick. I'm melanated and fluffy, but I would sit on his back in order for him to do push-ups with me on his back. But everything I did as far as disciplining him per se was always something that honed in on the fact that I knew he wanted to play football. Another funny, interesting story about that is when he started playing Pop Warner, he was about 9 years old. And there was a girl on the team. And if you out there, if you hear this show, I really want you to get in touch with me because I want to talk to you. You were the first little girl I'd known that played football. And I was just so excited about it. And her name was Refrigerator. And she was knocking people over. She was thick. She was making it happen. But story with that was he was scared at first to get hit. And I'm like, So me being me, inner city Baltimore, and it's like, we ain't having no, we ain't having nobody scared on the team. So the coaches was like, I love you. You are a good mom. I was like, put him in the front of the line and get the thickest Negro, but I ain't say Negro, but I'm good now. I was like, and put him up there and have him knock the wind out of him. And he was looking at me like, Mom, what in the world are you doing? I was like, no. So the person came, knocked him out. He hit the ground. He lay there for a minute. I was a little scared, but I didn't let him know. And he got back up and I was like, you living, right? And he was like, yeah. I said, now put him back and do it again. And literally the coach was like, yeah, we need moms like you. But I was like, nope, you are not going to be afraid of what comes next. If this is what you want to do and this is how you got to do it, then you have to be ready. Now, mind you, years later, even though I talked all that stuff while he was on the field that time, when he got older, I was like, I was scared than a bug. I was like, I didn't want nothing to happen to my baby. But I couldn't let him not get hit because that was the nature of the sport. So as he journeyed through college and things of that nature, I constantly, though, always told him and shared with him and showed him, you're going to have to navigate something after football. Now, I believe in you. I'm that mom that I believe I believe you can fly. Like, I'm going to instill it in you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you want to be a daggone track star, but you can't run, I ain't telling my kids, go out there and do it. No, baby, that probably is not for you. We're going to try something else. But I knew that this was for him. So I walked that journey with him. I supported him every way, supported him in colleges, played D1 ball, go pro, all that. I was there with him, but I was always telling him, you've got to do something after that. And it was more important that not only did I tell him that, but that I gave him skills and that I gave him resources and I put him in positions where he could understand what else was it for him to do if he didn't make the where he wanted to go, So NFL was the goal. We never pretty made it to NFL yet. He's still young. He's still out there doing his thing. But in the meantime, in between time, if you want to, that baby went and got his degree, working on another one. He's got businesses. He's been CEO of companies. And he's, he navigating this thing at 27. However, there are individuals who have been professional athletes, who's been in athletes pretty much all their life. And that's what they know. And crazy and sad enough, I do know a parent that I interacted with, and her son actually plays football in Georgia, 10 years old. Bad, like he's a bad mojolo. But he knows nothing else but football. And lovingly, I tried to express to her that there's going to be, or there is life after the sport. Are you teaching him social skills? Are you teaching him life skills? Are you teaching him or allowing him to understand emotional intelligence? Because when that dream or when that ultimate goal is not reached, how do we interact with the individual? Who do they know themselves to be outside of what they do? Say that. Who do you know yourself to be after you're not doing what it is you do? So today we have a guest on here. Now, we talked a little bit, just a half a second. I talked enough to know that I probably will mispronounce his name because I'm from Baltimore. So we're going to go with Jay. Hey, Jay. So a little bit about Jay. Now, y'all know when we do these biographies sometimes, and I'm really proud because Jay gave me a nice biography, nice bio that didn't have all them 50-cent words in there. So I didn't have to get all stumped up with trying to figure out these big words. So we good, okay? Jay Mecoy is a dynamic leader, educator, and visionary entrepreneur dedicated to fostering generational health and wealth. In the Black health women health. See, now I just said I wasn't gonna mess up, and I did. Health equality in the Black community. With over 22 years of experience in education, Jay currently serves as manager of the graduation coach team in Georgia Cyber Academy, where he inspires students to achieve their full potential. His passion for mentorship and leadership extends beyond the classroom to his nonprofit, and we're going to talk about that, Life After Ball Lab. It's an organization dedicated to helping athletes transition successfully into life beyond sports. Now, Jay himself is a professional basketball player and played for the Harlem Globetrotters. Can I tell y'all, I was so excited. When I was younger, I used to see that. I'm like, whatever happened? We got Jay here. Jay can tell us a little bit about it. And various overseas teams. Jay brings a unique perspective on discipline, teamwork, and resilience. His experience on the court fueled his commitment to preparing others for life challenges, particularly retired athletes facing identity shifts. Yes, let's talk about it. Under Jay's leadership, Lab has spearheaded impactful initiatives, including an annual school supply giveaway and a holiday turkey drive that directly serves the community. Jay also plays a vital role as vice president of Full Circle Consulting Group, where he provides strategic solutions to enhance organizational growth and effectiveness. He's a natural motivator and coach. Jay frequently shares his expertise on mentoring and coaching techniques, leveraging his extensive background as a principal, athletic director, and spiritual leader. So, let's give a big round of applause and bring on Jay Mecoy, because I'm not going to say his first name because he might get me if I try to say it. So let's welcome Jay.
What's up? What's up? How we doing? How you doing?
All is well, Jay. How are you?
I'm slightly better than great. Slightly better than great today.
I like that. I like that. That's right. Slightly better than great, especially in this, I want to say this Thanksgiving season, but Thanksgiving is every day. But I'm so glad to hear that, you're slightly better than great. So I might have to steal that. If you hear it on the show, just know I will give you your due credit.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
You are, listen, thank you for being here. I'm very, no, really, I'm like really grateful because again, you are like one of those who people need to hear their story, right? Because your passion also became your purpose. And that purpose is something that is greater than yourself and helping others to become great as well. So I am actually honored and humbled to have you on here. And, my daughter, I didn't mention her, but my daughter played basketball. She loved basketball. I couldn't dribble worth a dime. It just wasn't for me. But
you didn't have her taking charges in front of people?
Man, listen, I did though. I did because I was could not play the sport, but had enough. I was like, call defense. I was like, girl, put your hands up, box out. Never been put a basketball in my hand, and I probably try to kick it like a soccer ball. I'm just trying to tell you, but
no.
But being that mom, just like cheering her on because she really, really, really loved it, and I was just like, hey, I need to learn at least enough so I can call some plays to make sure my girl out there doing her thing, right? All right, enough about me. So, tell me a little bit. I know I read your bio, but tell me, how was your journey getting to the Globetrotters? Like, tell me a little bit. Was that something you always knew that you wanted to do, play ball, or you fell into it and was like, hey, I like this sport? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Man, let me fill in the gaps. Here's the gaps. Bio just gives you the overview. There's gaps. So, I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. That's literally, I'm here right now with my family celebrating the holidays. So, and guess what? 4404 Jackson Street.
Wow. That's what's up.
But I was blessed to get a scholarship to go to high school and play at a private high school. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of people don't know is that before me, I have my brother who's 3 years older than me. I have an uncle who's 2 years older than him. I have another uncle that was 2 years older than him. And we literally went to the same high school. My oldest uncle brother, because we're so close in age, he actually graduated and went to University of Maryland, played basketball there. The one next to him went to University of Howard, played basketball there. Wow, and then my brother played at Iowa State University, and then with me finishing up I went to Texas State when I got my first degree was from there. But it was a journey getting there. But again, we're coming from Gary, Indiana, which is not the most affluent area in the United States, or the city of Indiana, or the state of Indiana, or Gary is one of those cities you make it out of.
Wow.
So I'm home now, and when I was here in high school, there were about 6 or 7 high schools in the city. Mm-hmm. Currently today, there's 1 or 2.
Wow.
That's how desolate the city has become. So it's coming back and seeing this makes me want to come back and do some stuff. Anyway, for the kids here. Mm-hmm. But so I went there. I went to a junior college. So let me start with this: playing professional basketball was never a dream of mine. Never.
Oh wow!
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. It was my brothers and everybody before him. Everybody wanted to go pro. Period. And they were all NBA or not. And me, I was just like, you know what? I want to go to college. I know we can't afford to get a degree. We can't pay. My mom can't afford to send me to college like that. So I need to find a way to get there. So I ended up going to college with a full ride. Went to a junior college for 1 year. This is the crazy part. So I went to junior college for 1 year. A week before I left to go to school, I busted my ankle while I was in the cast. I had to go to school in the cast and the scholarship. I had to fast track that. And the thing about these things is that they're like, yo, if you're not able to play within a certain amount of time, I'm gonna lose my scholarship.
Wow.
I didn't come, it's the investment. They have to get a return on their investment. Well, I got healthy, eventually got healthy. That particular team, finished 30-5 for the season, and we went to the NJCAA tournament and finished 8th in the nation.
Woo!
Right. So
Talk about purpose, though.
Yeah, and I was like, man, and what I noticed when I'm there, I'm helping my teammates pass classes. It's, I'm the at that time I was the nerd on the team. I was the one who wanted, because I knew my purpose. My purpose, I was coming here to get a degree. Mm-hmm. Basketball wasn't the focus. It just so happened that I was pretty good at it, mm-hmm. And which led me to a Division I scholarship in Texas. And that team, I can tell you I wasn't focused when I first went there. I went from a 3.7 to 1.4.
That's that college life. It can have you lose focus in a minute.
Mm-hmm. But what they don't tell you is that, especially going on this journey, is that I'm coming up impoverished, and then I'm getting placed in these rooms of how to move in a sense, and how do I even begin this? And a lot of colleges, they're going to isolate you from the rest of the population, so you don't get the opportunity to network. Mm-hmm. Back then, we didn't have the opportunity to even get an internship because it was illegal.
Oh wow!
So the question is, you pulling this kid out of poverty, and you can't give him money. How are we supposed to eat? How are we supposed to do our laundry?
The crazy thing about that, and I just said that too, about the life skills. Mm-hmm. Having gone, like you said, in an environment that a skill or something, of course, that someone saw in you athletically brought you to that place, but not being able to actually well-round you into a whole person per se, but only really honing in on that one aspect. And then a person may get caught up in being driven to just that aspect, and they make that identifier as to who they are. And it's challenging now to navigate an identity outside of what you do. Okay, go ahead. Journey me, get me to the Globetrotters. Yeah. Okay.
And then think about it. That coach, those athletic trainers, those are your people. Because I went from Gary, Indiana to Texas. I had no family there. So this is your tribe. My new tribe is coach. Everybody that's around me, that's like, all right, great, Mm-hmm. And here's the crazy part. I didn't play a lot in college. I didn't get a lot of playing time.
Listen, now that's funny that you said that, because in high school, my son, his high school football team won a division twice in a row. And he didn't get a lot. His name wasn't always called. He wasn't the one that was the star player and this, that, and another. And he was bummed by that. But, me being the parent that I am, I was like, listen, did you get your ring? And he was like, yeah. So then you're a part of the team. Whether you played or not, or whether your name was called, you were a part of something great. And your part made a difference. You understand what I'm saying? Whether your name was called or not. And, I ain't trying to put nobody on Front Street. But you know what's so funny? The one name that was called, and they was like, putting them out there, he's no, didn't make it in college, didn't get to the pros, didn't do any of that. But he was the high school star. You know what I mean? Yep.
Okay. He remembers those high school plays. That's that's one of the things I always, when I run against people, they talk about high school. They think about, oh, remember you did XYZ in high school? It lets me know immediately this person hasn't moved on. They're still stuck. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They haven't had any more moments like that for the rest of their life. It's like, I'm thinking, man, do you know how many other plays I've had besides that one play? Like, I don't remember that at all. Like,
wow.
But anyway, my senior year, we end up going to the NCAA tournament. We do well. I got a ring and played on TV. We got blasted by Minnesota. I'll never forget that. But I am on the road to graduation. Okay. I'm literally on the road. I'm basketball season's over. NCAA, like, so when March comes around, usually when you hear a hard push from the lab, because we know that a lot of people will never put a uniform on and play in front of the crowd again.
And we definitely, after we finish this journey, that's where we're going to go next. We got to talk about this lab. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I did that. And I actually I was a semester before I was supposed to be doing, I had to go one extra semester after my transfer. And oh man, I'm just thinking about that. I went to California with a friend of mine, and he went to go pick up a car. And I flew out and drove his car back. But while I was out there, I was playing in a little basketball games at LA Fitness and stuff like that. And somebody saw me playing, And they were like, wait a minute, like, we need you. Like, hold on. So a couple weeks after me out there playing, I got a phone call and they wanted me to play on the LA Summer League teams. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the semi-pro. This is before they had the G League.
Okay.
I said, oh, so okay, I'll play, you know, I can come out there and play. I was ready, signed up to go for a team, and then a week before I was supposed to leave, the NBA lockout happened, so they didn't have a summer league for that.
Oh.
But again, remember, my goal was to graduate, and all this was just stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get convinced to go to try out for a like the G League now, a team in Texas like the G League. So I go and I say, okay, I'll try out. And when I tell you that I didn't have any money, I planned on sleeping in my car overnight. Just you know, I want to give it here's a shot. Here's my shot, effort I'm putting towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get out there and I get drafted first round, second pick.
Wow.
And when it came down to it, I had when I came back and said, "Hey, you got chosen. You want to send your contract over X, Y, Z." And process. I said, "Hold on, y'all, time out."
Yeah, like a contract. You just went. You knew nothing about these contracts and monies and who gets percentage and okay. I'm following you.
None of that. But again, remember, my goal was to graduate. That's why I'm stuck on one thing. Well, I told him, I said, "Hey, I have a couple more weeks before the semester's over, and then I graduate from college, and I'm ready to go." It's like, "Oh no, we don't. That's on you."
Woo.
That's not how we operate. Now, you can finish and graduate and then come back and try it after that. But this is for right now. This is now. You got this time frame. And I'm like, wow. So again, I'm focused. I said my grandfather would kill me if I don't graduate. I'm graduating.
That was too close. That was too close not to.
Yep. So eventually, I let it go, then thinking nothing else about it. But my roommate from college, his uncle was a super truck that played the glove. He would always come to our games and watch these games whenever he was in the area or in town. And I got an offer to go try out with the Globetrotters. And I was like,
Did you know about them? Was it something that you knew about?
I knew about, but I had never seen them. I never saw them in person. I watched the cartoons and stuff like that. I couldn't spin a ball on my finger or anything like that. I was like, so I'll go out there, I'll try out. So I go out to Orlando and I'm playing. I'm having fun. It was great. I had a great time. It was awesome. This one play got me a contract.
Wow.
I had a fast break. There was a kid, Mr. James. I know his first name starts with a J. I'm going to leave it right there. J. James. Okay. The kid was 7'1" and big as Shaq. He was like a Shaq duplicate, literally. And I was on a fast break and I told him, I ran down, going down the court, I said, jump. And he jumped and I dunked on him. That was it.
What?
That's what got me a contract that day. They told me, get out, go to the locker room, go sign your contract, let's go.
Wow. Okay, so that was like, listen, what you said, you only get one shot. And that was the shot that put you in the position that you went to. But you went to this position, Jay, and here it is. It almost is like you said, you went in for one thing because you just wanted to get to college. But now you're navigating life. And how many people, if any, were in your ear giving you some instructions about afterwards? Right? Because that brings me to like this lab. Like, how did you get from, what made you go to like, you know what, this was my experience, this was my journey, but this is where I see what's needed. Let's get to the lab. Life after basketball. Go ahead.
So there's two things that, well, two or three ways you stop playing sports. Mm-hmm. Either you retire, you know, and the game retires you, or what's the third one? Or somebody fires you. So basically, it's really two. So you retire or the game retires you. One or two. Mm-hmm. Typically, an injury and that was me. I got injured in Japan, tore my IT band, and when I came back, I was like, okay, and I'm going to weave this in here because relationships matter.
Absolutely. Ooh, say that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and wait a minute, I'm sorry. It's so funny that you said that because in my intro, I neglected to say how we were introduced. And that's exactly what I was going to say, that we were introduced through a relationship, right? And I tell people all the time, and especially in business, and I understand we go to these network events, but I always say that when you network, you're just like vaguely connecting with people. But when you build and have relationships, it takes you to a divine alignment and purpose in life. So, I mean, I can't stop people jargon by saying they're going to go and network, but I listen to when someone's saying they're networking. To me, it just says you're going to connect to people, or you're going to just rub shoulders with somebody to get to the next level. And I'm like, for me, I'd rather have a relationship with people who have a foundation to say, I really know this person, therefore I can vouch for such and such. So, yep, that was good that you said that. That's a say that moment. Okay.
And the relationships matter. Simple as that. So what and actually, this is around the time I met Kiwi.
Okay.
This is
Shout out
right
to
on.
Kiwi. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for the relationship.
Yep. So Kiwi was I had met a guy in New Jersey when I was playing the Globetrotters. He was the head assistant coach for the New Jersey Nets at the time, and he told me, he said, I want to get you an NBA.
Wow.
Here we go. I had no dreams about it. It wasn't a dream of mine. I was like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And, I was building a relationship with him because, who knows when this is over, what's going to happen. But he said, I want you to meet this guy, Kiwi, who can help train you. And then we can look at all these different, gave me all these different roles to go down. So the one thing, this is the first moment I took some action on myself. He got me an offer for a Connecticut Pride. I forget the name of this team. It was like a developmental team. He said, I need you to go play for them for 3 months, and then we'll pull you up on a 10-day contract to go with the Nets. My question was, okay, what happens if I get hurt in these 3 months? Oh, I can't guarantee you nothing. Now, back then, those leagues were paying $300 a week.
Okay.
I was living off that. I was overseas making a lot more money than that. So wow. I was like, $300 a week for a chance, for an opportunity. That's not an opportunity. That's not something I'm willing to risk. I'm not going to do that. I'm good. Lo and behold, within those 3 months is when I got injured.
Wow.
And I was able to pay for my rehab and all that after that. So,
but at this time, has anyone still spoken to you about what comes next?
There's nobody. At this time, everybody's looking for me to make money off of.
Ooh, ouch. That is some real stuff right there. Hashtag real talk.
Literally, you going out tonight? Oh, yeah, I'm going in. Then I'll call you. You going out tonight? I said, you want to go out tonight? I said, yeah. I said, you got some money? No, you ain't got me? No, I don't have you tonight. Oh, well, man, I might be stuck in the house. I'm like, gotcha. See it. But what I realized when I was...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
No, I was going to say, because we're still talking, because I'm like, so what was that inspiration that got you to the point where you was like, listen, lab is necessary? Like I said, kind of going through your journey, like, wait, something, I guess maybe something clicked and was like, who helped? Okay, see, I'm a jokester, right? So it's like, who gonna help navigate me? Everything is a movie or a song for me. It was like, who gonna cry for me? So everybody's So when did you kind of get that moment? Like, yeah, you know what? It's something with this.
I'm gonna tell you, I hit that moment at 3:18 in the morning. God woke me up and said, "Write this down." Literally, write this down. And I was like, what? First of all, I'm like, who is this? that I can hear in my head. Who is this in my head? But okay, I'm spiritual. I grew up. I'm a preacher. I'm a PK. So So I write down life after ball. And Renee, I sat on it for years.
Wow.
I was doing the work. I was doing all the work. Didn't realize I was doing the work. But I helped my friends when they got done playing get degrees. I helped them with starting their businesses. I helped them with all the knowledge I acquired afterwards. I soaked up. So my idea when I finished, I realized one thing: a job is a way to get a paid education.
Come on.
So when I opened up the first 2 LA Fitnesses in Georgia,
wow.
I opened up I'm like, wait a minute. They gave me a box. They gave me 6 desks and a box of flyers to hire people, and they gave me goals every week to hit. And I'm hitting these goals, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm running this business. I'm learning from the ground up, from construction all the way through the end of a grand opening. I'm like, whoa.
And that's good insight. I was getting ready to say that's good insight, and most people don't recognize that when you are put in position to do some things, hold on to that information. Like, Get that, because that is your ground level, especially if it's something you're excelling in. That kind of like is an indicator that there's some purpose there. So you want to hone in on what you're getting taught. Like you said, you're getting paid to get taught, right? You have to pay to go to college, but life experiences through employment, you are getting paid to be able to build your own from ground up. So that's some good stuff right there. Okay, Jay.
Yeah. I always go into everything when I enter something new. I think about the end. What do I want the end to look like? So when I look at jobs, I want to know what is the end for me is running my own company. What can I pull from this to run my own stuff? But what I got is when all my friends kept calling me like, hey, when you get down, hit Jermal, he can have. That was a running thing.
Wow.
So it was a 2018, December 2018. I ran into somebody because I was a principal, a middle school principal at Victory World Christian School. And one of the parents was like, you know, man, I know you play sports and this and that, and I'm some athletes. You know anybody we can connect this guy? I have a guy I'm trying to. I have a business that I've been sitting on forever. Let me introduce this to you. And when I showed it to him, his mind was blown. He said, man, this is it. When I showed him the map out of how I wanted it to be, just blew him away. And at that moment, I just started the work. I immediately got it. Nonprofits, like went through the whole process to get the nonprofit, formed the business, formed the board, and next thing you know, it's just like, and I always say it was slow initially because people I was doing the work. I was laying the foundation. I don't know, like you ever heard the story of bamboo, Renee?
Bamboo? No, share that with us. Nope.
So
I mean, I didn't have 2 pair. You know what I'm saying? 2 pair earrings.
So I don't know if y'all know this, but bamboo takes the first 5 years is when it's planted. You don't see bamboo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yep. It builds a network. It builds its ground and its foundation for 5 years. And then I think it's either every month or every week it grows a foot after that. Wow. So I spent the 5 years I spent building a network, building outreach into colleges, high schools, individuals and companies, just to get them to kind of know who we are, incorporating the name and, getting all my intellectual property together and all that. And here we are 5 years later. I'm gonna tell you, the best feeling I had was the very first year I did the turkey drive. That was a phenomenal feeling to go out and actually feed a community that.
That's good. That's some good stuff. So like you said, you were able to use your resources, kind of like you said, where you came from.
It was a startup community.
You used what you came from to then be able to build and help other people, kind of either in the same situation, or you knew that you were purposed to be able to give somebody something. You know what? And that's an awesome thing. We're going to start with how that first year, being able to give the turkeys away.
Oh, yes. So being able to give those turkeys away was probably one of the best feelings I had, because we fed them not only food, but knowledge, and got them a lot of people involved in our MVP program, where we talk about money, vision, and purpose, and capture some high school kids where we actually got a chance to put them through our college-bound CBA, college-bound athlete program that we run. So it was that right there was a pivotal moment for it. It was the first event we've done, and then after that, things just started taking off.
And so, it was funny that you said, you was a PK kid. So just talk to me a little bit about how did your faith play a part in this journey for you?
It played a part, and it continues to play a part every day. So, being able to actually step out and do this and being accepted by other athletes, just because, hey, I didn't come from the biggest, you didn't see me play at the biggest school. I'm not at a Duke or something like that. But I have people from Duke that's in my program.
All right now.
I have people from Florida in my program,
Now, I so also go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I say it's been phenomenal. It's been a wonderful journey. It just for me, it's just getting started.
I know that's right, and that is definitely the truth, right? I received that and believe that for you. I was looking at your bio, and I'm interested. And I'll tell you a little later, but you had your role in playing a part in the Georgia Cyber Academy, right? So I want you to talk to me about a little bit. How have you impacted these students of this program, because it's technically kind of like a homeschool, or it is a homeschool. So how are you able to impact these students or these individuals from this program? Because it's different from a public school, even though we need you in that arena as well. So if anybody's listening to this, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind kind of coming to your school and dealing with, I'm putting you out there, you know what I'm saying, putting you out there. But, tell me about this Georgia Cyber Academy. What is your impact on the students? What are you doing with them?
So I manage a team of about 10 graduation coaches, and which is unheard of to have in one school. Usually there's one or maybe two. In that, we actually only have at-risk students on our caseloads, where I'm literally helping them transition from middle school to high school, or just let's get caught back up, and literally we're motivating kids to finish and get across that finish line. Like it's literally the virtual world. So just so you guys know, I know AI is kind of prevalent and all that going on right now, but virtual school, I've been with this particular school for 10 years. And so this has been going on for a while. It's not a homeschool, because homeschool, you actually teach the curriculum.
Right.
Our curriculum at our school is taught by certified teachers.
And so I want to finish, but I'm so interested because I will be starting. So that's why I was like, ooh, that stood out for me. So tell me your impact and what you're doing with them. So go ahead. So Georgia Cyber Academy, like it's not a homeschool. So go ahead. Okay, talk to me.
It is a state charter school that is funded by the state, so it's free to attend. Students get laptops. If you don't have Wi-Fi, you get a hotspots so you can attend public school. And what I love it because this is called educational equity.
Wow.
Because I could be in rural Georgia in the farm, I could be in the hood, or I could be out in Alpharetta or down in Buckhead, and I could be in the same classroom with the same teacher and perform. I have the same opportunity as anybody else. Funding is no longer an issue. So Georgia Cyber is a great place to learn. And as an educator, when I was a teacher before I was an administrator, I will tell you this: it's to your most creative teachers are virtual, because they have to be. Absolutely. You got to be entertaining. I call it edutainment. I literally wouldn't took voiceover acting lessons, so I could be a better teacher.
Wow. That says a lot about your heart and your passion for people, that you actually go above and beyond to make sure not only what you have to deliver to people, but you put yourself in the best position in order for them to do so. And we're kind of lacking in that, because we're getting away from effective communication and from relationship and interaction. So I really want to thank you for being the person that you are, to make sure that with your position, with your platform, that you are meeting the needs as much as you possibly can. And I even implore, and I know that this ain't Jay talking, this Renee talking, but I'm asking a lot of people to come alongside you that are also former professional athletes, whether basketball, baseball, football, but that they also kind of begin to kind of band together and take the same initiative, because we're asking, what about the children? Like, with this generation, I don't even know where we are. Generation X, Y, Z, A, B, C. I don't know where we are in the alphabet. 2, 3. Right. But if we want to see greatness in our children and in this generation, we have to be a part of their solution without focusing on the problem. And, some of the words and adjectives that were descriptive in your bio, they stuck out to me. One being resilience. And I'm like, that's something that we have to definitely talk about and teach people. And the other being teamwork, right? I think that athletics, and I know that you're going to be able to give me better. Athletics is the best way to teach individuals, our young ones, and even our, us as adults, teamwork, right? And how to interact with others. So I know they are, but just kind of elaborate a little bit about what part these things play in the lab. It's in your bio, and how are you navigating to be that person for them, to let them know or be the resource to give them what comes next? What skills? What do you hone in on the most to help the individuals with what's next?
So there's stages. The very first stage is reclaiming your identity.
Ooh,
Your identity is.
Say that.
Yes, you have to reclaim your identity. It's not what you do; it's who you are. And when I ask, I no longer ask kids, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I ask, "Who do you want to be when you grow up? What does that look like? What does being a good person look? What does all that look like for you?" And then we go from there. So with these athletes, the very first thing, and you got to think about this, Renee. So here's a kid. Your kid, let's say they're bigger than most of the other kids out there. You think, oh, not you personally, but I'm gonna play. You can play football. You might be able to get to play football. But when you're little and you're young, and let's say between ages 10, 11 years old, you're telling them, hey, you can't play so rough with the kids. You're a lot bigger than they are. You got to be gentle and X, Y, Z. And then the next moment, you're on the football field, and they're telling you, be mean, be strong, be. And you're like, wait a minute, I've been taught not to do that. And now you're telling me to do that. So, we were navigating that world of the world and the sports world, where they kind of intertwine. Even, I might be sidebarring, but we do that, especially football. I look at football differently because, especially as a lineman and health, I think health and wealth. There's no wealth without health. If you are eating, like I said, you're sitting there eating, you're eating 2,500 calories a day. And then you just got injured and you're not playing sports anymore. Now your last game is done, but you're still eating 2,500 calories a day, but you're not doing the 2 a days. You're not doing all that. The very first sign you're going to see is you'll see athletes, that former athletes, they're out of shape, they're overweight, and they're huge.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a part of society where they're already genetically bigger than everybody. And then depression hits as soon as you get done playing, because that's now we reclaim who we are. And then we go to now we know who we are. We got you straight. You know what you got it. We're good. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Because then who do you want to be? And then we can figure out what to do to become who we want to be. And once we navigate that land and give you, we start doing the career development, and it's all about different roads. Because some athletes come out and they're great, they're fine. They had the right guidance, they had the right people. So we still take those athletes and say, hey, you could be a resource for us.
Yes.
This is a big sorority, fraternity, all wrapped into one. I said, so imagine put on your resume, what affiliates, what clubs or groups are you affiliated with? You put the lab, and the person you're going to interview with is the lab as well. We just connect the dots.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And, I was going to be kind of cheesy. I had wrote in my questions, but, like I told you, I don't really play. I was going to say, when we're dreaming bigger, drop some 3-point strategies on the people. I was like, oh, 3-pointer, but, it could be kind of cheesy.
3-pointer. All right, Steph Curry.
All right, that's what I'm saying, though. Use my pivot foot. I don't know.
But hey, now I use that word a lot. Pivot.
Ooh,
you gotta know how to pivot. You can reverse pivot. You can 360 pivot. But you gotta know how to pivot. But you want three?
Yeah, give me at least 3. Give me. Drop 3 strategies that you use. Okay.
Right now, the number one thing that everybody has to be comfortable with. Number one, big, because this is something that's going to 100% guarantee is going to happen. Guarantee, no matter what. It's change. You got to become. You have to not only be comfortable with it, you have to embrace change. You have to look forward to change. And sometimes you got to create change. Change. That's one major thing. Change, and then the other thing is be observant. You have to be observant, and observation isn't always looking for the negative. You're looking to observe to see, okay, is this a road I want to go down? Is this something when you're looking at all the repercussions of that road? And then the other one is your network is your net worth. That's just simple. Like who you surround yourself is who you become. Like I tell.
Go ahead. No, I was going to go ahead. I like that.
And I tell people, I say, everybody says they're guilty. You guilty by association. I'm like, if I'm gonna be guilty by association, it's gonna be good because I want my actions to speak so loud you can't hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was listening to Miles Monroe today. I listen to him all the time, but I was listening to a short that he made, and he said about choices. He said, learn or research the consequences before you make the choices. I was like, wow, like it's little nuggets like that. And I didn't even realize I used to do that. Like I was the person that was like, okay, what is the worst case scenario? Not looking at it as a negative, but it's just like, I'm already going to take the power away from what could be, what would be, what should be. I'm like, so it keeps me from having anxiety, you know, another really big thing that people, you know, kind of struggle with. And it's like, when you go ahead and take the life away from that, when you take the power from what could be by saying, hey, listen, like you said, as far as we're talking about sports, worst case scenario, I never make it to the NBA. Worst case scenario, I never make it to, you know, the NFL or any NHL or whatever. But in doing that, understanding that that could be my worst case, but let me still focus on my navigation and my journey, that if that doesn't happen, it doesn't wipe me out of like who I am. Because that was the worst case scenario. So that didn't have the power over me because it was already researched and I already knew that just may not be the situation. Is that something that...
Exactly. That's exactly down that road because, again, sometimes people are real skeptical about me coming into their camps to talk and stuff like that because they don't want to put the doubt in people's head that they might not make it or something like that. But for me, I'll say, when I go and I talk, I say, you know what? All right, let's say everybody here made it to wherever they want to be at. You made it. You're there. It's not about if, it's about when. And most careers end about 27 years old, which means you spend about 3 to 5 years there.
We have got to, we've got to be in a position where we look out those consequences. We research the consequences to the end of the means and not let it stop us. And I know you're saying, like, when you go out and you speak and you share with others, what is it that you talk to them about when it comes to understanding that, creating that change and just kind of looking at the whole picture?
Right. It's looking at the whole picture and then, like you said, thinking through the outcomes, because especially deciding what you want to do with your life. You know, even if you're at a later age or early age, you get a chance to take a step back and evaluate, where some people have to immediately jump in. So if you've been blessed enough to play a sport too, because you still have your tribe, your teammates with you. That's one of the biggest things about having teammates, is that they become your people. I have dear friends from high school, college, and professionals. That's part of my network now that actually help me, and I help them along the way. So that's one of the beautiful things about the sport, all sports.
You're absolutely right. And that is so necessary and so needed. And I like what you said about guilty by association. I say that about social network as well. I mean, social media as well. I hear people be like, I can't stand, I don't like this social media. These people be tripping. And I'm going, listen, the algorithm only brings to you what you put out. So if your material is negative, if what you're put out there is not good, then that's what's going to draw back to you. Because I'm like, I like my social media. I get saved every other day. No, I'm just saying, but I'm like, I get embarrassed. I get inspired. I get imparted information imparted into me. I learn new things. I'm like, it is amazing. So it is a reflector of what you're around, who you're around, and what you put out is also going to be what you get back. So let me ask.
That's something to actually use. I use that as well. So, I tell everybody, I say, use your social media as an educational tool.
Absolutely.
You want to learn about businesses and stuff like that? When you like and follow those people that stocks, and you want to learn about that, you'll learn so much. And it's like you said, whatever you put in and you keep it, you like and engaging into that content, then the algorithm gives you more of that content. If you're engaging with the fights and the twerking, guess what? Your content gonna be, And
I say this as it also is a mirror, and that mirror is not so much that you have to look into to be critical, but look into, and the scripture we talk about as a looking glass. It helps us to measure where we are, and that's not a bad thing, because I say this as well. These are all you getting all the little nuggets. I say this. I'm like, when we're in the mall, there's always that map that says you are here. And when you're looking to go somewhere else, you first have to figure out where you are, right? Otherwise, you're walking through the mall all day trying to figure out where this store is. But if you locate where you are, you use that map, you will get a good direction and guidance as to where you're trying to go. So that's what that mirror looks like for us. And that's a really good thing as well. Let me ask a question. How can people, that's an important question. Now, we've said a lot of important stuff, but how can people support you?
Like any nonprofit, we can always use financial support. We can always use operational support. We can always use board support. So I'm looking for board members. So we have this new initiative coming up in 2025. We are going to have because we want to hear all the voices. We're only hearing, if I stay in my lane, in my season, I'm seasoned. I'm not old, I'm seasoned. Lane. Then I would only know about those within my age range and within my network and all that. So we're creating a high school board with high school athletes.
Okay.
We're going to create a college board as well with college athletes.
Okay.
And then we'll have our executive board, and all three will meet so we can meet the needs of every level. That's one of the major things. So if you're interested, anybody here is listening, if you're interested in being involved, you want to become a board member, want to help us fundraise, or you have means you want to actually donate. We're open, we're available. We want the lab will be a global entity.
That's
we're
what I was
almost currently are.
Okay, absolutely. That's what I wanted to put out there, that, you're physically located in one state, but we want the lab to be everywhere because we have athletes everywhere. And what I found now, don't come for me, y'all, but I found living now in the southern states, I didn't realize how important athletics was. I'm from up north, so I was more into, or we were more into entertainment and, things from that, theater and arts and things of that nature. And sports was big, but it wasn't as big as it was in the South. And as we look at the changing of the guards and the things that are just happening in our world, we don't want to focus that athletics is the only way out, but because that is a way of navigating your next level, let's be a part of helping an individual be well-rounded and holistic in who they are. And push them in their athletics, support them in their athletics, but all the more support them in who they are, right? And as we talked about it earlier, in the fact that we want to let this person know how to communicate with people, how to read contracts, how to read the room, how to understand how to present yourself, to know your boundaries.
NIL? How to maximize NILs, name, image, and likeness. So, the portals. These are things that you need to know in high school, not college. Because
we've taken such subjects out of the educational institution, and I say that it's an ill preparation for life in itself. And one of the reasons I really am excited about the lab, because it's like, hey, we can hone in on one area of who you are, but our bigger picture is to create and show you the greatness of who you are in your holistic self, and not just this pinpoint this one thing.
Exactly. Here's one of the things that especially somebody graduates college from playing, they're like, well, I don't have any experience. And I take a step back. I said, you don't? You have practice, right? Yeah. I said, what about the game? You win and lose. What do y'all do after a loss? But we got to go in. We work out on the things like turnovers. We focus on turnovers and X, Y, and Z. I said, then after that, what happens at the end of practice? Well, we go to coach. We talk about the game plan for the next day. And when the game comes, we evaluate during the game. I said, guess what? I said, you change that into, as an athlete, as a captain of my team, I reviewed our current performance, corrected the areas that we were lacking, so that once the event happened, we reevaluated the event, made corrections, reported to my supervisor, and we went from a loss to a win. I said, that's called P&L.
Right. And what they're called? Transferable life skills.
That part. Yep. Right there.
And that's what and I think that's, I look to what I'm understanding from you to see that's what the lab is. The lab is being able to help somebody use their transferable life skills because they've only been looking at it from a narrow scope. But then afterwards, and I got a story for everything, Jay. I used to be a program director for it was called at-risk youth in Baltimore, and so we taught like living skills and life skills and communication and just all those things. And I remember having 3 guys in my class. And they were big time drug dealers. Like, I mean, they was big. They was in it to win it, right? And
urban pharmacists,
right? I love that. And so when I was talking to them, I was like, hey, listen, I was like, your math skills are so on point. Just because I have a degree, I don't know how to turn kilos into grams and all that stuff. I was like, I have no idea, right? I'm like, and then your business management skills and the fact that you have people working for you. I'm like, your managerial skills. And they would laugh and be like, you're so funny. They were like, come on, Miss Renee. And I was like, I'm just going to get real with it. I need you to transfer these skills. And listen, 2 of them begin to get the newspaper and start reading the stocks. They went on to become very great businessmen in our society because I showed them, or I actually was supportive to them as to how to use the skills that but was looked at as a negative, like you said, urban pharmacists I can put this into the market. I'm marketable and I'm greater than just what this is and or how I'm seen from a negative connotation. And I can take this and make something bigger. So big ups to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. I'm a little old. I can't remember your name, but I remember our story.
Yes, I remember being a teacher in the school building. The kid told me, I don't even know why I'm here. I should be out the streets making that money. And I gave him the most unorthodox answer. I said, I don't know why you're here either. Yep. I was always told, don't waste your time. I mean, if you're going to be the biggest drug dealer out there, you want to be the biggest slinger, you should be in jail or dead right now.
Absolutely.
And he was like, huh? I said, yeah. I mean, if you want to I said, you don't need to successfully retire drug dealers.
Facts.
So if you're going to be in school, let's be in school.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you know what? You might be right.
Listen, and that's how you got to hit it. It's got to be non-conventional and out the box. Absolutely. Exactly. One of the things I would tell my students, because I'm a former educator as well, when they would do that, I'd be like, hey, listen, if you're going to do it, be the best that you can be. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Oh, absolutely. I'm all for you. I'm all supporting you. Like you said, I've never heard that when I like the entire thing. I'm like, baby, you don't swing on the pole. Boo, do your thing. Listen, I'm going to need your calisthenics up. I'm going to need your muscles to be on point. They're like, what's your name? You always tripping. I'm just like, I want to be real with you because I want you to, like you said, see the bigger picture. I'm not trying to hinder you. If that's where you want to go, if that's where you feel your purpose is, I'm not going to go here and try to hinder that, but I am going to give you a bigger picture. I'm going to give you more information so that you can make a better informed decision because I'm going to give you more. And I see that that's what the lab is about as well. You're giving people more. And I am so grateful and thankful for you, humbled that you would even grace the presence of being unboxed and sharing your story, dropping your gems, shooting your 3-pointers. I know it's phony, but so before we go, I want you to definitely let people, I asked how they could support you, but give them how they can actually contact you. Like give them all of your handles that they can connect with you.
So you can find us on IG as at The Life After Ball, or you can visit us on our website at www.lifeafterball.org, or you can call us 404-468-085. Oh, sorry, I got 3 different phone numbers in my head. 678-366-0356.
I'm sorry, I can't remember, but go ahead and say it again because I can't remember mine. So, but go ahead, give it to me.
678-366-0356.
All right, y'all.
Make sure.
Thank you so much. You are now a part of the Unboxed family, and I am so grateful because this family is looking good. It's getting bigger. It's getting better. Like you said, guilty by association, and I'm associated with some great people. So I thank you so much for the show, and just having a final thought. At the end of it all, we do have to remember that there is life after. And that is for the individual who's 7 or even 70. There's still life. As long as you have breath in your body, there's still life. So some of the things that we can think about going into what is the next is, I love what Jay said. Your network is your network is your net worth. It's important who you're around. I say this all the time. If anybody checks my social media, you'll see I am really big on who is in your inner circle, who's around you, who's imparting, who's impacting, who's inspiring, who's encouraging, who's uplifting, and all of that, who's holding you accountable. Because that's important as well. Make sure that you're putting yourself out there so that you can find your resources as well. I also like the fact that in these final thoughts, to understand that what we do is not who we are. And I've said that that's my tagline. Jay don't know. He was talking a lot about a lot of things that, I'm in line with. I'm always saying, you are not what happened to you. And you are not the identity of what title you are given, that you are a whole person, and that it is so good to be able to look at every aspect of you, and it'll help you continue to push through your journey of the next and next and next and next, because you're looking at yourself continue to grow. And I like him sharing also about that bamboo story, right? And he wasn't talking about the LL Cool J with the, 2 pair. He wasn't talking about the earrings. That bamboo, I like it because, like you said, it grows in a way that it grows so fast, but it's building beneath it. And if you think anything about the bamboo, you know how strong it is. And not only how strong that bamboo is, but within it is nutrients of life. So listen, find your tribe, get your people. Go ahead and don't be afraid to check out who you are beyond what you do, and know that you're just not what you do, but that your whole identity and your whole self has so much to give. Dream big, be big, do that thing, right? Say that. I'm so excited to have you guys. See you next Sunday on the Flex Radio. Peace out.
You have been listening to Being Unboxed on the D.O.D. Radio Network. Best self, best life, best radio.